If you commute regularly, you already know the deal, right? A public bus is basically a rolling microcosm of society. It's this shared, moving space where we all just have to figure out how to coexist. So, welcome to today's Explainer. We're breaking down the Universal Code of Passenger Conduct. Think of it as the ultimate foundational blueprint designed to make that shared ride actually work seamlessly for literally everybody on board.
Now, look, I really want to frame this not as some boring, dusty list of arbitrary rules handed down from on high by a transit authority. No way. This is really your personal guide to a better commute. When we step onto public transit, we're essentially entering into a social contract with our fellow citizens, So by unpacking the specifics of this passenger code today, we're looking at a shared blueprint. It's a real game changer designed to upgrade our daily journey, making it way smoother and just vastly more pleasant.
And the absolutely crucial point is right here. Keep every journey safe, respectful, and comfortable. That right there is the core mission statement of the entire Code of Conduct. The whole shebang. Everything we're going to look at today, every single guideline, every boundary, it all funnels right back into these three overarching pillars: safety, respect, comfort. Honestly, if a behavior or action doesn't actively support these three things, well, it simply doesn't belong on the bus.
Which brilliantly illustrates what we can call the commuter's golden rule. The source material establishes a super firm baseline expectation right out of the gate. Passengers absolutely must behave in a safe and appropriate manner, but, towards whom? Well, it's really a three-way street. First, you've got a responsibility to be respectful towards the driver. They're navigating a massive vehicle in heavy traffic, no easy feat. Second, you've got to respect the public bus property itself. And of course, you absolutely must maintain that exact same level of respect towards all your fellow commuters sharing the space.
So, putting this philosophy into actual practice requires a few actionable steps. Step 1, be respectful. A massive part of this means intentionally avoiding loud behavior that, frankly, invades someone else's peace and quiet. Step 2, keep the aisles clear. The aisle is basically the main artery of the bus, so keeping it completely clear is a major safety requirement. And step 3, always follow the instructions of the driver or the staff. They're the captains of the ship, and listening to them ensures that the baseline of safety and comfort is maintained for everybody.
All right, let's shift gears for a second and talk about physical space. Because let's face it, a bus only has so much square footage to go around. Making space for others is just a fundamental expectation here. The code explicitly mentions that passengers must avoid causing inconvenience to others, and that requires some serious situational awareness. Are you blocking the flow of traffic at the doors? Are you wearing one of those giant, bulky backpacks that basically takes up the space of a whole other person? Actually, scratch that. We've all been bumped by one of those backpacks. Navigating the shared physical space mindfully is just totally essential to a good commute.
The rules also strictly prioritize exactly how that shared space is allocated. Priority seating absolutely must be left available for the folks who need it most. We're talking about elderly passengers, persons with disabilities, pregnant women, and parents traveling with small children. This isn't just a polite little suggestion, it's a core expectation of respect. If you don't fall into one of those categories, you've got to yield that space. It's all about making sure their journey is just as comfortable and safe as yours.
Now, as you can probably imagine, there is a stark contrast between the ideal journey we just talked about, safe, respectful, comfortable, and the prohibited nuisances that completely destroy it. Behaviors like blasting loud music, using offensive language, or, causing damage to the property. Those things actively dismantle that ideal environment we all want. The source material places these behaviors in direct, total opposition. We really can't achieve that ideal, smooth journey if we're permitting those kinds of nuisances to happen.
Which brings us to the firm boundaries set by the code. To protect the commute, there are a few things strictly not allowed on board. Period. No smoking. No eating or drinking. No loud music. No offensive language. On top of that, animals and oversized luggage are completely prohibited, mostly because they disrupt that shared physical space and those clear aisles we talked about earlier. And finally, there is a blanket ban on any unsafe behavior. These aren't gray areas, folks. These are clear lines drawn in the sand to protect everyone's ride.
Okay, so we've covered the rules for boarding and riding. Now let's move into the final stage of your journey, preparing to actually exit the vehicle. You see, the Code of Conduct doesn't just mysteriously stop while you're sitting there in transit. It extends right up until the very second you step off the curb. Executing a smooth departure requires clear communication with the driver, but here's the kicker.
It has to be done exactly the way the code prescribes, so it doesn't accidentally become a nuisance itself.
And here it is. Press the stop bell once, just once. I really want to emphasize this instruction because it's so specific. You do not need to hammer the button repeatedly like you're buzzing in on some game show, right? Pressing it multiple times falls right back into that category of loud behavior, and it really just causes an inconvenience to the driver and everybody else. A single, solid press is literally all it takes to signal your exit safely and respectfully. To wrap up this explainer, the ultimate takeaway from this universal code of conduct is simply this: all passengers are expected to travel responsibly and respectfully. Honestly, it really is that simple. By following these highly specific rules, from leaving priority seating open for those who genuinely need it, to keeping the aisles totally clear, to yes, simply pressing the bell just once, we all actively help create a safer, far more pleasant bus journey for absolutely everyone on board.
So I'm going to leave you with this final, kind of provocative thought. How will your actions improve the journey today? The next time you step onto a public bus, just remember that you actually have the power to influence that environment. You decide whether the ride is a chaotic nuisance or a totally comfortable, safe experience for yourself and your fellow commuters. Keep that sense of personal responsibility in mind. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, enjoy your next commute.